Success does not begin with money. Success does not begin with luck. Success does not even begin with talent. Success begins in your mind. The truth is, every single thing you see in this world, every company, every invention, every great achievement, started first as a thought inside someone's head. Before the airplane flew, it was just an idea in the mind of the Wright brothers. Before electricity lit up the world, it was a vision in the mind of Thomas Edison. And before you can change your life, you must first reprogram the way you think. But here's the problem. Most of us are running on old programming. Imagine your mind is like a computer. If the software is full of viruses, errors, and outdated files, it will crash, freeze, and fail to work properly. That's exactly how many people live their lives. They carry old beliefs from childhood. I'm not good enough. I will never be successful. People like me don't win. And these negative programs control their actions every single day. No matter how hard they work, their mind keeps pulling them back down. In this video, we are going to learn how to program your mind for success step by step. I will guide you through powerful mental shifts that can completely change the way you think, feel, and act. We will go deep into how to delete negative beliefs, how to install new positive thoughts, how to visualize your future so clearly that it feels real, and how to take action until success becomes automatic. And before we dive in, let me share something very important with you. Right now, when I look at my channel, I see that 97% of people watching are not subscribed, and only 3% are subscribed. That means most of you are listening, learning, but not joining the family officially. If you want to keep growing, if you want to continue receiving motivation, English learning, and life-changing lessons every week, then I invite you, right now, to click subscribe. It takes just 1 second, but it means everything. Together, we can build a strong community of learners and dreamers. So, take this small action. Today subscribe, because this video is going to change the way you think forever. Let's begin the journey of reprogramming your mind for success. Chapter 1. Your mind is like software. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a computer. Every day it runs programs, executes commands, and follows instructions. Some of these programs are powerful and helpful: confidence, creativity, discipline, and focus. But some programs are harmful, outdated, and even dangerous: fear, doubt, laziness, and negativity. Just like a computer that keeps freezing because it's full of old files and viruses, your mind can also become slow and stuck when it is full of negative thoughts and limiting beliefs. Think about this. When you were born, your mind was like a brand new computer with no programs installed. As a child, you didn't know the difference between rich or poor, success or failure, strong or weak. You were just curious, free, and full of potential. But slowly, people around you began installing programs into your mind. Your parents, teachers, friends, culture, and even society placed beliefs inside you. Some of them were good, like kindness, respect, or honesty. But others were not so good. Maybe someone told you, you're not smart enough, life is hard, or people like you will never succeed. At first, you didn't even question it. You accepted those words and stored them inside your mind. And without realizing it, you began running those programs. Now here's the truth. If your mind is running bad programs, it doesn't matter how much effort you put into your life, you will always feel stuck. Imagine typing on a keyboard, but no matter what you type, the computer gives you an error. That's how many people live. They try to work hard, but deep inside, their programming says, I will fail. They try to start something new, but their inner voice whispers, why even try? You're not good enough. And guess what? The computer, your mind, obeys that command. Because the mind does not care if a belief is true or false. If you believe it, your mind accepts it as a program. That's why reprogramming your mind is the most important step towards success. It doesn't matter where you are right now, how much money you have, or what your background is. If you change the way your mind is programmed, your whole life will change. Every action you take begins with a thought. Every dream you chase begins with a vision, and every result you achieve begins with your mindset. So let's take an example. Imagine two people with the same ability. Both want to start a business. Person A has a negative program. Business is risky. People like me always fail. I'm not good enough. Person B has a positive program. Business is a chance to grow. Even if I fail, I will learn. I have what it takes. Now, who do you think will try harder, push further, and keep going when things get tough? The answer is obvious. Success doesn't start with talent. It starts with programming. And here's the good news. Just like a computer, your mind's programming can be changed. You don't have to stay stuck with the beliefs you were given as a child. You don't have to keep running on old software that no longer serves you. You can install new beliefs. You can delete the old lies. You can write new code in your mind that says, I am capable. I am worthy. I will succeed. And once you do, your actions will follow. Your habits will follow. Your life will follow. Remember this. Your mind is not your enemy. It is your most powerful tool, but only if you learn how to use it. If you program it for failure, it will faithfully deliver failure. But if you program it for success, it will faithfully deliver success. Your mind is neutral. It only does what you tell it. That's why starting today, you must take responsibility for the software you allow inside. Because the truth is, the world is full of viruses, negativity from the news, toxic people, limiting beliefs from society. Every day, someone will try to install a virus in your mind. You must protect it. You must choose carefully what you read, what you listen to, and who you spend time with. The wrong program can waste years of your life. The right program can change your destiny. So as we move forward in this journey of programming your mind for success, I want you to remember one simple image. Your mind is the computer, and you are the programmer. You are the one typing the code. You are the one choosing the programs. If you don't like the results you are getting in life, don't just complain about the outside world. Go inside, look at your programming, and then change it. This is where success begins. Not with money, not with luck, not with connections, but with a single thought in your mind. Program it right, and everything else will follow. Chapter 2. The Power of Beliefs. Your beliefs are like the invisible walls of your life. You may not see them, but they control how far you can go. Think of a bird raised in a cage. Even when the cage door is open, the bird often doesn't fly out. Why? Because it believes it cannot. The bars are no longer there, but the belief remains. This is exactly how many of us live. We are surrounded by invisible cages made of beliefs. And until we change those beliefs, we will stay trapped. Beliefs are not facts. They are simply thoughts that you repeat over and over until your mind accepts them as true. For example, if you keep telling yourself, "I'm not good at English," your mind will believe it. And then, when you try to speak, your mouth will freeze, not because you can't speak, but because your belief has convinced your brain to stop you. On the other hand, if you start saying, "I am learning every day, I'm improving, I can do this," your mind will accept that too, and suddenly you'll find yourself speaking more freely. The belief becomes the fuel that powers your actions. Let's look at a story. Imagine a young boy named David. Since he was small, everyone around him told him, "You are weak. You are poor. You will never achieve anything big." At first, he didn't fight back. He believed their words. So in school, he never raised his hand. He never tried to lead. He always stood in the back. His belief created his reality. But then one day, something small happened. He read a book about a great leader who started with nothing. And for the first time, David thought, "If he can, maybe I can too." That one tiny belief changed everything. Suddenly, he started studying harder. He started practicing. He started taking small risks. And slowly, people around him began to notice. The same boy who once hid in the shadows was now stepping into the light. What changed? Not his body, not his intelligence, not his circumstances. Only his belief. That's the power of belief. It can lock you inside a prison, or it can open the gates of freedom. It can keep you small, or it can make you unstoppable. And the most dangerous part? Many beliefs are not even yours. They were given to you by other people. Your parents might have said, "We are not rich, so you will not be rich." Your teacher might have said, "You are not smart." Your friends might have laughed when you dreamed big, and without realizing it, you accepted their words as your own belief. But here's the truth. Other people's opinion is not your reality unless you allow it. Beliefs are like seeds. If you plant a seed of doubt, it grows into a tree of fear. If you plant a seed of confidence, it grows into a forest of courage. Every thought you water becomes stronger. So the question is, what seeds are you planting in your mind every day? If you wake up thinking, "I can't," you will prove yourself right. But if you wake up thinking, "I will find a way," your brain will start searching for solutions. The difference between a winner and a loser is not in ability, but in belief. Science even proves this. There is something called the placebo effect. Doctors have seen patients get better just because they believed the medicine would work, even if the pill was nothing more than sugar. That is how powerful belief is. If belief can heal the body, imagine what it can do for your dreams. Now let me ask you, what do you believe about yourself? Do you believe you can become fluent in English? Do you believe you can change your future? Do you believe you are worthy of success? If your answer is no, then that belief is the very chain holding you back. But here's the good news. Beliefs can be changed. Just because you have believed something for 10 years doesn't mean you must believe it for the next 10. Just because someone told you a lie doesn't mean you must live it forever. Changing a belief starts with awareness. You must catch the negative thought when it enters your mind. For example, When you hear yourself saying, "I can't do this," stop and replace it with, "I am learning and I will get better." At first it feels strange. Your old belief fights back. But if you keep repeating the new belief, it begins to take root, and soon it becomes your reality. Remember, success is not about being the smartest, the strongest, or the luckiest. Success is about who has the strongest belief in themselves. The world is full of talented people who failed because they didn't believe they could. And it's also full of ordinary people who achieved greatness because they never stopped believing. So as we move forward, I want you to think carefully about the beliefs you carry. Write them down if you must. Which ones are helping you? Which ones are hurting you? Because in the end, your beliefs are the blueprint of your future. You cannot build a palace on a weak foundation. You must first strengthen your beliefs because what you believe, you become. Chapter 3. Reprogramming your thoughts. Your thoughts are like the software that runs your life. If your mind is the computer, then your thoughts are the programs that tell it what to do. The problem is, many of us are running on old software, programs we didn't even choose. We inherited them from family, school, society, and experiences. If you were told as a child that you're not good enough, that program is still running in the background. If you were laughed at when you tried something new, that memory is still shaping the way you think today. And unless you change those programs, you will keep repeating the same patterns. Reprogramming your thoughts is not easy, but it is possible. It starts with understanding that every single thought creates a ripple. Imagine your thoughts like drops of water falling into a lake. One drop might not look powerful, but when thousands of drops fall every day, they shape the surface of the water. In the same way, your daily thoughts shape your life. If your drops are negative, "I can't do this, I'm not smart, I'll never succeed," then your mind becomes dark and heavy. But if your drops are positive, "I'm improving, I'm capable, I will succeed," then your mind becomes light, strong, and clear. Let's look at an example. Imagine a young girl named Sophia. She grew up in a home where her parents constantly fought. Every time she tried to speak, she was told, "Be quiet, don't talk, you don't know anything." Slowly, Sophia's thoughts turned against her. She started believing she had nothing valuable to say. When she became a teenager, she avoided speaking in public. In school, even when she knew the answer, she stayed silent. Her thoughts told her, "If you speak, people will laugh." This became her prison. But one day, she decided to challenge the prison of her mind. She picked up a small notebook and started writing one positive sentence every day. At first, it felt silly. She wrote things like, "My voice matters," or "I have ideas worth sharing." Her old thoughts screamed back, "No, you don't." But she kept writing. Every day, one new thought. And after weeks, something changed. The loud voice of negativity became a little quieter, and the new voice of confidence became stronger. One day in class, when the teacher asked a question, Sophia raised her hand. Her heart beat fast, her palms were sweating, but she spoke, and no one laughed. Instead, people listened. That moment changed everything. Why? Because she had started reprogramming her thoughts. That is the secret. Repetition. Your brain doesn't care if a thought is true or false. If you repeat it enough, it will accept it as reality. Think about it. This is how fear works. You keep repeating the fear in your mind until your body reacts as if it's real. but it also works for courage. If you keep repeating, I am strong, I am learning, I will succeed, your brain will begin to act as if it's true. Science backs this up. There's a concept called neuroplasticity, which means your brain can change itself. The pathways in your brain are like roads. The more you use a road, the stronger and wider it becomes. If you always think, I'm a failure, that road becomes a highway. But if you stop using it and start building a new road, I'm capable, I can grow, I deserve success, your brain will slowly shift. The old road will weaken, and the new one will become stronger. That is reprogramming your thoughts. But here's the key. You must be consistent. Imagine planting seeds in a garden. If you plant positive seeds but then stop watering them, weeds will grow back. Negative thoughts are like weeds. They don't need permission. They just appear. That's why you must actively water the positive seeds every day. Morning is the best time. When you wake up, your mind is fresh, and the first thoughts you feed it will set the tone for the day. If you wake up saying, this day will be hard, it will be. If you wake up saying, this day will give me opportunities, your brain will start noticing opportunities. And don't think you must be perfect. Reprogramming doesn't mean you will never have negative thoughts again. It means when they come, you catch them quickly, and you replace them with better ones. For example, when the thought, I can't do this appears, you stop and say, I will try and I will learn. Slowly, your brain learns the new pattern. Think about the most successful people in the world. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders. Do they never feel fear? Of course they do. But they have trained their minds to focus on possibility, not limitation. They know that thoughts shape destiny. They know that if they feed their mind with strength, their actions will follow. So my question to you is, what thoughts are you repeating today? Because your thoughts are not just words in your head. They are instructions for your future. Reprogramming your thoughts is not about magic. It's about discipline. It's about saying to yourself every day, I choose better thoughts. I choose empowering beliefs. I choose to create a future that excites me. When you understand this, you stop being a victim of your mind. You stop being controlled by old programs. You become the programmer. You write your own code. You design your own destiny. And that is the true power of reprogramming your thoughts. Chapter 4. The power of visualization and mental rehearsal. If there is one tool that separates those who merely dream of success from those who actually live it, it is the ability to visualize. The human mind cannot clearly distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is experienced in reality. This is not just a motivational statement, it is a scientific truth. Neuroscience has proven that when you visualize an action, the same regions of your brain activate as if you were physically performing it. Athletes, entrepreneurs, performers, and leaders have tapped into this secret for centuries. They program their minds with images of success so powerful, so vivid, so emotionally charged, that their subconscious begins to accept these mental rehearsals as reality. Once the subconscious accepts it, the conscious mind finds ways to create it. Think about it this way. Every invention, every company, every movement that has changed history began first in the imagination of one person. The light bulb existed in Edison's mind long before it lit up the world. The airplane flew in the imagination of the Wright brothers long before it touched the sky. And today, the wealthiest entrepreneurs and most influential creators see the future in their minds before they build it. They don't wait for proof. They provide the proof by holding the vision so strongly that reality eventually conforms to it. The same principle applies to your life. If you want to succeed, you must begin by seeing yourself successful, clearly, consistently, and unapologetically. Visualization is not daydreaming. Daydreaming is passive. It is like watching clouds float across the sky, pleasant but without power. Visualization, on the other hand, is active. It is deliberate. It involves engaging all your senses. If you want to reprogram your mind for success, you must close your eyes and imagine your goals as if they have already been achieved. If your dream is financial freedom, don't just see numbers in a bank account. Feel the peace of waking up with no debt. Imagine the excitement of booking a flight to anywhere in the world without checking your balance. Hear the laughter of your family as they enjoy the life you created. Taste the food you always wanted to try. Smell the new car or the home you own. The more senses you involve, the more your subconscious begins to believe. And once your subconscious believes, it moves heaven and earth to make it happen. Mental rehearsal is the secret weapon of champions. Before stepping onto the court, Michael Jordan would see himself making the winning shot hundreds of times in his mind. Before stepping into the ring, Muhammad Ali declared, "I am the greatest," because he had already rehearsed victory in his imagination long before the fight began. Surgeons rehearse complex procedures mentally before touching a patient. Public speakers see themselves delivering powerful speeches before standing in front of an audience. The best in every field prepare their minds before they step into reality. Why? Because the mind, once programmed, guides the body, the emotions, and the decisions toward that predetermined outcome. Now, here is where most people fail. They visualize once, feel good for a moment, and then go back to old patterns of doubt, fear, and negativity. That is not programming. That is entertainment. Programming requires repetition. Think of your mind as soil. A single seed tossed into the dirt will not guarantee a harvest. But if you plant the seed, water it daily, nurture it, and protect it from weeds, eventually it grows into a tree. Visualization is the daily watering of your dream. It is the mental exercise that strengthens the belief muscle inside you. Just as physical muscles grow through consistent training, the belief in your vision grows through consistent rehearsal. Here's a powerful exercise you can do starting today. Every morning, spend 10 minutes in silence, close your eyes, and play the movie of your success. See yourself waking up in the home you desire, walking into the office or business you built, delivering value, creating wealth, inspiring others. Make it so vivid that your heart races with excitement. Then, at night before bed, replay that same movie. Why morning and night? Because those are the moments when your subconscious is most open to suggestion. By doing this, you are programming your brain to recognize opportunities, to filter out distractions, and to align your actions with your vision. You must also combine visualization with emotion. The subconscious responds more powerfully to feelings than to logic. If you visualize your dream but feel nothing, it is like painting with invisible ink. There is no lasting impression. But if you visualize and feel the pride, the joy, the gratitude, the relief, then the image is burned into your subconscious, like fire into wood. The stronger the emotion, the deeper the programming. That is why gratitude is such a powerful amplifier. When you visualize your future with gratitude as if it has already happened, your mind treats it as real, and your energy begins to attract it. Some will call this foolish. They will say, be realistic. But what is realism other than the limits of someone else's imagination? Those who achieve greatness are rarely realistic. They are visionaries. They live in the future they have created in their minds while the world catches up. Remember, you are always visualizing something, whether consciously or unconsciously. If you are constantly imagining failure, embarrassment, poverty, or rejection, then that is the movie you are feeding your subconscious, and it will work tirelessly to bring that to life. The question is not whether you are visualizing. The question is what you are visualizing. Are you feeding your mind images of victory or defeat? When you commit to visualization and mental rehearsal, you unlock one of the most powerful tools for reprogramming your mind for success. You stop waiting for proof and instead create proof. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. You become the author of your story instead of a character lost in someone else's script. And as you do this daily, something miraculous happens. You begin to notice opportunities you never saw before. You attract people and resources aligned with your vision, and you carry yourself with a confidence that others can feel. Success starts to feel inevitable because in your mind it already is. So, as you move forward, understand this truth. Your future is first built in your imagination before it manifests in your reality. Train yourself to see it before you live it. Program your mind with images of victory, with emotions of gratitude, and with the repetition of rehearsal until your subconscious cannot tell the difference between the dream and reality. Because once your mind accepts it, your life will eventually reflect it. This is not wishful thinking. This is not magic. This is the science and art of creating your destiny. And it all begins with the power of visualization. Chapter 5. Building unshakable beliefs and self-identity. If visualization is the engine that moves you toward your goals, then your beliefs and identity are the foundation upon which everything stands. You can dream, visualize, and even act, but if deep inside you do not believe you deserve success, or if you secretly see yourself as a failure, then every step forward will be sabotaged by the weight of your own self-image. This is why so many people work hard but never break through. It is not because they lack intelligence or opportunity. It is because their internal programming does not match the life they are trying to create. They are running the software of scarcity, fear, and self-doubt on the hardware of their mind, and then they wonder why success keeps crashing. The truth is, your beliefs create the filter through which you see the world. If you believe money is evil, you will push away wealth even when opportunities are in front of you. If you believe rich people are greedy, you will unconsciously avoid becoming one. If you believe success is for them but not for people like me, you will always self-sabotage right when victory is within reach. Beliefs are powerful because they are invisible. You don't wake up each day saying, "I believe I don't deserve more." No, it hides in your actions, in the risks you refuse to take, in the jobs you settle for, in the relationships you tolerate, and in the excuses you make. The first step to reprogramming your beliefs is to recognize that every belief you hold today was learned. You were not born believing you can't succeed. You were not born believing money is scarce. You were not born believing you are unworthy. Those were downloaded into your mind from parents, teachers, culture, media, religion, and your environment. Some of those beliefs served you once, but now they keep you trapped. The good news? If beliefs are learned, they can also be unlearned and replaced. You are not bound forever by what others told you. You have the power to rewrite the script. This is where identity comes in. Identity is simply the story you tell yourself about who you are. And here's the truth. You will never consistently act in a way that contradicts your identity. If you see yourself as a procrastinator, you will always find ways to delay, even when you try to change your habits. If you see yourself as broke, you will keep living paycheck to paycheck, even if you suddenly earn more money. If you see yourself as unlucky, you will find ways to lose, even when you're close to winning. But the opposite is also true. If you adopt the identity of a disciplined, wealthy, successful, and unstoppable person, your actions will begin to align with that identity. Over time, your reality will catch up to the story you tell yourself. Think about people who quit smoking. Those who say, "I'm trying to quit," usually fail. Why? Because their identity is still tied to being a smoker. They are just trying to change behavior. But the ones who succeed say, "I'm not a smoker." That's a powerful identity shift. The same principle applies to success. If you say, "I'm trying to be successful," your subconscious hears uncertainty. But if you declare, "I am successful, I am wealthy, I am disciplined," even before reality shows it, you begin to rewire your identity. You are no longer acting like someone trying to change. You are simply aligning your actions with who you already are. Reprogramming your beliefs and identity requires 3 key steps: awareness, replacement, and repetition. First, you must become aware of your limiting beliefs. Catch yourself when you think, "I can't do this," or "people like me don't get ahead." Write those down. Awareness shines light on the invisible cage that has kept you trapped. Second, replace them with empowering beliefs. For example, instead of "I can't succeed because I don't have connections," change it to "I succeed because I am resourceful and disciplined." Instead of "money is evil," reframe it to "money is a tool that allows me to create freedom and help others." Third, repeat it daily. Just like weeds grow back in a garden unless you constantly maintain it, your old beliefs will try to return unless you consistently plant and water new ones. Affirmations, visualization, journaling, and surrounding yourself with people who already live the beliefs you want. These are the daily practices that cement your new identity. One of the most powerful truths you must accept is this: you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your beliefs. That's why 2 people can receive the same opportunity, and one creates success while the other wastes it. It wasn't the opportunity that made the difference, it was the belief system of the person receiving it. Your identity is like a thermostat. If it's set at 20 degrees, even if the room heats up to 30, the thermostat will pull it back down to 20. Likewise, if your identity is set at average, even if you temporarily experience success, you will find ways to lose it until you return to your baseline. The only way to sustain success is to raise your internal thermostat, your identity, so that abundance, discipline, and victory feel natural. Here's a question for you. Who do you believe you are? Not who do you want to be, but who do you believe you are deep down? If your answer does not match the life you desire, then your work is clear. You must change your beliefs and identity before expecting external results. Start small. Begin by saying, "I am disciplined, I am focused, I am wealthy, I am worthy of success. At first, it will feel fake, but remember, your old beliefs once felt true, even though they were lies. Over time, with repetition, your subconscious accepts the new programming. Soon you won't just say it, you'll feel it. And once you feel it, you'll act on it. And once you act on it, you'll live it. So, understand this. Success is not something you chase. It is something you become. And you become it by building unshakable beliefs and aligning your identity with the person you must be. When you see yourself as successful, when you feel it in your bones, when you repeat it until your subconscious cannot deny it, then the world has no choice but to mirror it back to you. This is how you program your mind for success, not just by setting goals, but by becoming the kind of person for whom success is inevitable. Chapter 6. Mastering the language of the mind. The words you speak to yourself every single day are shaping your future more than you realize. You see, success or failure doesn't begin with your actions. It begins with your thoughts. And those thoughts are communicated through your inner dialogue. That voice inside your head, the one that whispers when you wake up, the one that judges when you fail, the one that encourages or discourages you, this voice is programming your mind every hour of every day. Most people are unaware of how destructive their self-talk has become. They beat themselves up, criticize their every move, and call it being realistic. But here's the truth. Your subconscious mind is always listening, and it does not know the difference between truth and lies. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," your subconscious accepts it as fact and begins to shape your behavior to match. If you constantly repeat, "I always fail," then your subconscious works to prove that statement right. In other words, your life is simply reflecting the language you've been using all along. Think about this carefully. The world you experience on the outside is a mirror of the conversations happening on the inside. A confident person is not confident because life always goes well for them. They are confident because their inner voice consistently uplifts and supports them, even when life is tough. A fearful person is not fearful because the world is scarier for them than for others. They are fearful because their inner voice exaggerates danger and minimizes their own power. When you understand this, you realize that mastering your self-talk is not optional if you want success. It is essential. The quality of your inner dialogue determines the quality of your outer results. So how do you master this inner language? The first step is awareness. Begin noticing the words you use when you talk to yourself. Do you say things like, "I can't," "I always mess up," "I'm not smart enough"? Or do you say, "I'm learning," "I'll figure it out," "I'm capable"? Every word carries weight. Even something as simple as saying, "This is hard," versus, "This is a challenge I can overcome," changes how your brain perceives the situation. The first statement makes you feel powerless. The second empowers you to take action. Words are not neutral. They either build you or break you. The second step is replacing negative self-talk with empowering language. This doesn't mean lying to yourself or pretending everything is perfect. It means reframing your inner dialogue in a way that strengthens you rather than weakens you. For example, instead of saying, "I'm a failure," say, "I failed this time, but I'm learning and getting stronger." Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I can't do this yet, but I will with practice." That single word, "yet," turns impossibility into possibility. It signals growth instead of limitation. Over time, these subtle shifts completely reprogram your subconscious mind. The third step is repetition. Your inner dialogue has been negative for years, maybe decades. You cannot expect to undo that overnight. Just like lifting weights builds muscle, repeating empowering self-talk builds mental strength. Every day you must practice affirmations that align with the identity you want to create. Say out loud, I am confident. I am successful. I am disciplined. I am worthy. At first, it will feel strange, maybe even fake, but remember, your old negative beliefs felt normal only because you repeated them for so long. With enough practice, these new empowering words will feel natural, and when they do, your behavior will follow. But here's something most people overlook. Self-talk is not just about words, it's about tone. Imagine a parent saying to a child, "Good job," but in a flat, dismissive tone. The child will not feel encouraged. Now imagine the same words, but said with excitement and love. Completely different impact. Your subconscious mind works the same way. If you repeat affirmations in a lifeless, robotic tone, they won't sink in. But if you say them with conviction, energy, and emotion, your subconscious absorbs them as truth. That's why when you affirm, you must not just speak words, you must feel them. Feel the power of being disciplined. Feel the joy of being successful. Feel the pride of being worthy. When feeling is added to words, belief is born. Another powerful technique is to visualize your self-talk as if it were coming from someone else. Ask yourself, would I ever speak to my best friend the way I speak to myself? If your friend made a mistake, would you say, "You're hopeless? You'll never succeed"? Of course not. You would encourage them, tell them to keep going, remind them of their strengths. Yet many of us speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to another human being. The challenge, then, is to become your own best friend. Treat yourself with the same compassion and encouragement you give others. When you stumble, say, "It's okay, you're learning." When you succeed, celebrate yourself, even in small victories. The final step in mastering your inner dialogue is to protect your mental environment. The voices you listen to externally eventually become the voices you repeat internally. If you constantly consume negativity, news filled with fear, friends filled with doubt, social media filled with comparison, you are feeding your mind poison, and your self-talk will mirror it. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with books, mentors, podcasts, and communities that uplift you, your inner dialogue will naturally shift toward empowerment. The environment you choose today becomes the self-talk you live with tomorrow. Let me leave you with this truth. Your self-talk is a prophecy. Every time you say, "I'm not good enough," you are writing your future. Every time you say, "I can and I will," you are writing a different future. Your words shape your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your identity. Your identity shapes your actions, and your actions shape your destiny. Change the words, and you change the destiny. That is the power of mastering the language of the mind. So remember, every time that inner voice speaks, you have a choice. Let it drag you down, or train it to lift you higher. Success begins not with money, not with luck, not even with hard work. It begins with mastering your self-talk. Because the most important conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Chapter 7. Programming your mind with daily rituals and habits. Success is not built in one day, but it is built every day. If you truly want to reprogram your mind for success, you must stop thinking of success as a single event and start thinking of it as a lifestyle. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant good seeds every single day, water them, protect them from weeds, and give them sunlight, your garden will flourish. But if you ignore it, weeds will take over. In the same way, your mind is being programmed daily, whether you like it or not. The only question is, are you programming it with rituals that build success, or are you allowing the weeds of fear, doubt, and laziness to grow unchecked? Let's start with the power of morning rituals. How you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Most people wake up, grab their phone, scroll through social media, and let other people's lives, problems, and opinions set the mood for their day. By doing this, they give their mind away before they even get out of bed. But successful people are different. They begin their mornings with intention. Instead of drowning their minds with distractions, they choose practices that strengthen their focus, confidence, and clarity. Imagine starting your day by saying, "Today I choose growth. Today I choose discipline. Today I choose to move one step closer to my dream." When you begin with affirmations, your subconscious mind locks onto those words and works to bring them to life. Add to this 10 minutes of visualization, seeing yourself achieving your goals, feeling the emotions of success, and your mind is already programmed for greatness before the world can distract you. Another ritual that reprograms the mind is journaling. Writing down your thoughts, your goals, and your gratitude reorders your thinking. When you write down your goals every day, you remind your brain what matters most. When you write gratitude, you train your mind to see opportunities instead of problems. When you reflect on your challenges, you transform confusion into clarity. Think of journaling as software updates for your mind. Without it, your mental program becomes cluttered and slow. With it, your mental system stays sharp, focused, and powerful. Let's talk about habits, because rituals without habits are like seeds without soil. A ritual is something you do intentionally, but a habit is something that becomes automatic. The goal of programming your mind is to make success automatic, to make discipline natural, to make focus effortless, to make confidence your default state. How do you do this? By repetition. At first, it will be hard. Waking up early will feel uncomfortable. Speaking affirmations will feel awkward. Reading instead of scrolling will feel boring. But repetition rewires the brain. Each time you repeat a positive behavior, you strengthen the neural pathway that makes it easier next time. Eventually, what once felt difficult becomes natural. What once felt forced becomes your identity. But here is the secret. You don't need to change everything at once. Too many people fail because they try to transform their entire life overnight. The real power comes from small, consistent habits that compound over time. Read 10 pages of a book every day, and in a year you will have finished 12 powerful books. Save just a small amount of money every day, and in a year you will have a foundation of financial discipline. Practice English 10 minutes daily, and in a year your fluency will be far ahead of those who study only once in a while. These small, repeated actions reprogram your mind to see yourself as a disciplined, successful person. And once your mind accepts that identity, your future cannot help but change. Now here is something most people never hear. Your rituals are not just about what you do, but but about what you avoid. Success is not only built by adding positive habits, it is also built by subtracting negative ones. For example, if you avoid gossip, you protect your mind from negativity. If you avoid procrastination, you protect your time. If you avoid self-doubt, you protect your confidence. Each time you choose to say no to something destructive, you are saying yes to success. Remember, the weeds grow fast if you let them. Removing them daily keeps your garden clear for growth. And finally, let us talk about evening rituals. The way you end your day is just as important as the way you start it. Successful people do not go to bed with chaos in their minds. They review their day, celebrate what went well, learn from what went wrong, and program their minds for tomorrow. A powerful practice is to write down 3 wins and 3 lessons before you sleep. This trains your brain to focus on growth instead of regret. Then, visualize your tomorrow. See yourself waking up energized, tackling your tasks with confidence, and moving closer to your goals. When you sleep with success on your mind, your subconscious continues working on it all night long. So here is the ultimate truth of this chapter. Daily rituals and habits are not just routines. They are mental programming codes. Every morning ritual, every positive habit, every evening reflection is like writing new software into your brain. Over time, this software runs automatically, guiding you toward the life you desire. If you commit to these rituals, your mind will be reprogrammed not just for temporary motivation, but for permanent transformation. And now, dear friends, let me leave you with this thought. Your future will not be decided by luck, by chance, or by one big moment. It will be decided by the rituals and habits you repeat every single day. Your success is hidden in your routine. Your greatness is programmed into your mind through what you do when nobody is watching. So the question is, what rituals are you choosing? What habits are you building? Because they are not just shaping your day, they are shaping your destiny. If this chapter has opened your eyes, I want to ask you something important. Right now, 97% of you watching this channel are not subscribed. Only 3% are. And yet you come here, you listen, you learn, and you take inspiration. My friend, don't just be a listener. Be part of the family. When you subscribe, you are not only supporting this channel, Fuel for English and Life, but you are also programming your own mind for growth by committing to this journey. So, if you want more powerful lessons like this, more stories, more English learning, and more life-changing mindset content, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and join us. And now I leave you with this hook. Remember, your habits today are building your future tomorrow. Don't wait for the perfect time. The time is now. Program your mind, shape your destiny, and walk into the life you were created to live.